Hi everyone, welcome to this video. In today's video, we will be discussing how to structure your project. When you're working on a simple application single-handedly, the structure doesn't matter much. But as soon as the project grows, you need a proper structure. So what is the proper structure or defined structure? Well, in C++, there is nothing like that to be precise. You are free to structure your project the way you want, and there are no such hard rules which you must follow. I will demonstrate the old classical way of doing things. Many open source projects you will find are structured in the same way. Also, I will show you the latest structure proposed and with some add-ons, what is my personal way of doing things. So first, I have VS Code open where we can see the structure and files properly. Let's create the structure using terminal first. Let's create folders using terminal, that will be a little easy. So first, this is the structure folder. There is nothing, it's a very top level directly, and I am creating a project. So let's create a project with name old. It's empty directory. Now let's create few directories in a top level directory. The first directory, which is include, which contains include files. Second is source. Next we can have test, we can have also doc, we can have also example. Let's do this. Now we have got 5 directories and pretty good. Let's jump to this. So this is little bit older way of doing things, in which we have 2 separate directories of source and include. Now the problem with this is, again in the include you need to have a folder which is exactly same as your project name. And then in this folder you will have your header file. So basically this is just for the include paths, because when you're providing the paths to your source file, they should have, let's create a source file first. So the source file should have old/abc. So that's the must thing for a header file, that it should have a project name appended in the beginning. So to achieve that, in the old structure which you will see, there is a folder inside include which names having the exact same name of the project, and inside those you will be finding your header file. So this structure is a bit confusing, but many open source projects which are existing for longer duration have this structure only. There are no downside to it. The only downside is like this access folder and all your files are structured in a different folders, like source is different and include is different. In test you can have a test file, called it abc.test.cpp. this is the correct way how you should name the file. So we have test files, we have source file, and we have header file. In example you can have some examples of your running code, and doc you can have some That's it about the old structure. You will find it everywhere online in most common open source project. This is the structure which is still existing, because you cannot change the old structure which we have. But now there is a research paper which was published in 2018, which basically was created to handle this problem. Like include is having this folder and we are having source file as a separate. So this paper was presented by study group 15, just standard C++ conference. It's an official paper, it's not by someone else like random people. It is pretty accepted paper in a conference, and it proposes some pretty interesting ways to structure the project, which I personally like and I try to follow if I'm working on a new project to a great extent. It's having a background and basic introduction. So what it suggests is this. It's a simple structure. Let's see. Let's make a project new. Okay, let's make a project new, and in this new, right now there is nothing. We will have new, we will have test, we will have doc, example, and that's it. Let's move to, let me close this old one and open this new one. So basically this paper suggests that in the top level directory of a project there should be one more directory which should contain everything. It can contain C++ file, it can also contain header file, also we can have some unit test if this is a class and it's having it's a header file of a class and it's having its implementation, and then you can also have unit test. Even the unit test can be present in this same directory. So basically what's the overall view is that it makes it very easy. If you have a class defined as ABC, you have its header here, you have its source here, you have the unit test for it here, and all will be structured under the same directory, which makes it easier to work around. The only downside of structuring your headers in the same directory, which I see if you're working on some library or some framework where you have some private and some shared headers, then that can create some problem. Otherwise, this is the best way to go for. And if we are having unit test here, in this test the paper suggests we can have some functional or integrational test related to overall. Let's not name it ABC. And this will be a functional test or integration test of the project working on multiple classes. And this doc folder and this example folder is similar. Apart from this, what I personally like to have is one more folder structured in my top level directory as bin, which I can easily exclude from git ignore. In this structure, all my binaries which are not useful, which you should not commit in a repository, everything, those kind of file or any intermediate files goes in this folder. One more thing which I would like to say in this structure, if let's move to the older one first, and if you're having a CMake, so you will have a CMake in the top level directory. And for that CMake, I have seen many projects which have a dedicated folder in the top level directory which is for CMake. This structure is good. What I prefer in my way is that CMake is, even if you have CMake in your, let's create a CMake in this top level directory. All the files it will be generating you don't want to ship, because if anyone is cloning the project or working on a different architecture, you need the CMake to work and you need it to create new make files depending upon the architecture, depending upon the system, depending upon the compiler. So after all, you're not shipping those files. So what I tend to do is I make a folder here inside my bin folder, and I place all my CMake related stuff here. There are a lot of files CMake generates, which we will see in next few upcoming videos, how we can work with CMake and how we can build the project and all. Apart from this, there is one more thing which I like to have, which eases a lot. One folder is scripts. This scripts will contain all the scripts needed to either compile my project, build my project, run some test, deploy, push it to some CI/CD pipeline, and all those kind of scripts. So those also, I made a mistake in those kind of scripts I like to keep in this folder, and I find this is a pretty good structure. And if you have a framework, if you have a dependency, that too will go inside this folder. If you want, you can have one more folder which we can call vendor for third-party dependencies, and it will be residing in this, and then we can have individual CMake for that and all. This is the basic structure of the code. There are many more things than the code the project must have, which we will see in upcoming videos. That's it in this video. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comment. See you in the next one.